Hello boys and girls. Today I'm going to model for you how I revise a draft of a story that I just wrote. For me, the first step in revising is to read what I've written. So I'm just going to read aloud for you the draft that I have. So more than anything in the world, Jonathan loved chocolate. He could not resist it. He was addicted, plain and simple. He ate chocolate every day. This made Jonathan a very happy boy, and his happiness lasted for many years. Then there was a problem. One morning he looked in the mirror and saw dark spots on his cheeks. He touched them and he felt a little pain. For about a minute he studied the spots. He had no idea what it was. He washed his face, but they didn't go away. He started to get concerned. He couldn't go to school looking like this. So after reading this draft, I say, you know what, I kind of like it. I think for a draft it's pretty well written. I think it's clear. I've introduced a character right away, Jonathan, and I've kind of told you a little bit about him, that he loves a lot of chocolate. However, he's having a recent problem, and he has these spots on his face, and he's concerned with how he looks, and he doesn't want to go to school looking like this. So I think the important thing to keep in mind here is when you write the beginning of a story, you have to reveal some very important information about your character and introduce the problem. Now, since I'm revising, I'm going to look for places in my draft where if there's anything confusing, I'll need to either take out information or add information to make it clearer for the reader so the reader knows what's happening. I'm also going to look for some places where I think some details are missing. Maybe there's ways for me to include some details and kind of expand the parts that I think are important. And the whole time I'm doing this, I'm keeping in mind my reader. But however, I did notice one thing here. At the very end here, I say he started to get concerned. He couldn't go to school looking like this. I think the reader wants to know why he's so concerned about going to school looking this way. What is his biggest fear? And as the writer, I know what Jonathan's biggest fear is. Jonathan has just developed a crush on one of his classmates, Samantha. So I need to find a place somewhere in this opening to share that information with the reader. So I'm thinking up here where I talk about what Jonathan likes. When I say that he likes chocolate, I'm thinking, why don't I just combine all the things that he likes in this part of the story? So I'm thinking somewhere up here I want to say that he also has this crush on Samantha. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a number right here in my draft. I'm going to write the number 1 right here. And then on my revision page, on a separate page, I'm going to go ahead and write the new information that I want. So in your writer's notebook, you're going to set up a blank page so it looks like this. Please go ahead and write your date on the top line. Then go ahead and write revisions 4, and then just give your story title. And then on a blue line down here, you're going to write the number 1. And this is where you're going to actually write the new information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write the information. I'm going to write the revision here that I want to include. So I think I want to write, in addition to chocolate, Jonathan, excuse the error here, Jonathan also liked Samantha. Now I'm thinking, did he just like her? This is, he has a crush on her. Jonathan has his first crush, and I think that's why he's so nervous about how he looks. In fact, Jonathan had a crush on Samantha. Okay, so that's my first revision. So notice here, this isn't, when we're talking about revisions at this point, we're talking about putting whole sentences in there, maybe even a whole paragraph. I'm putting in the information that the reader needs so that the story makes more sense. So that's my first revision. So again, to review, when you read your draft, and you may need to read it more than once to find places where you want to make a revision, you're going to put the number exactly where you want to add the new information. That's why I put the number 1 here. And then you're going to turn to your writer's notebook and you're going to write all that new information. And you're going to repeat this process for however many revisions that you want to make. And if you're really in a groove and your story is missing a lot of information, you could have 5, 6, 7, 8 revisions that you want to make to your story. So now as I continue to reread my draft, I'm seeing now where I might want to make a second revision. Down here at the end of what I have so far from my draft, in these 2 sentences somewhere, I think I need to say something more about Samantha. He started to get concerned. He couldn't go to school looking like this. This is where the reason why is he's so concerned. What is Samantha going to think when she sees him like this? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a revision. So I went ahead and I wrote a 2 here, and now I'm going to go back to my writer's notebook and I'm going to write the second revision. So in my writer's notebook, I'm going to go down to the next blue line and I'm going to write the number 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and write my revision. So again, I think what he's most concerned about is what Samantha's going to think. So that's what I'm going to write here. What would Samantha think? What would she think? Now he's concerned. You know how we've talked about using your green story detail cards? What I'm thinking right here is I need to put what he's thinking. I need to share Jonathan's thoughts. There is no way she will like me looking like this. This is like his biggest fear. So again here, notice that I actually wrote 2 sentences. Okay? So again, today, when you revise, you're going to go ahead and keep repeating this process, keep rereading your draft, and keep finding places to add information that your reader wants to make the story more interesting and to make it a little bit more clear. So that's going to be your job today. So hopefully you found this video helpful.